Hello students and welcome to the next chapter of your grammar book, which is pronouns. Now, as you all know that pronouns are the words that can replace or stand for a noun. Means they can change their places and they can stand for the noun in the sentence. So this is the major function of the pronoun, that they can be used in the place of a noun. They play a role similar to the noun in a sentence. So if we are not using a noun in a sentence, instead of that we can use a pronoun. Now how do we do that? I think some of you might have the idea, and we'll be moving forward in this chapter. Now, there are many types of pronouns which we'll be discussing in our classes. In first class, that is today's class, we'll be discussing about three major types, which are personal pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, and interrogative pronoun. Apart from these three types, there are other types as well, which are reflexive, distributive, relative, emphatic, pronoun of number and quantity, indefinite, as well as possessive pronoun. These topics will be discussed later in the next classes. Now, before starting any of the types, I would just like to tell you that please pay attention to whatever I am saying, listen to it very carefully, and then go to your work and notes. First thing, which is the personal pronoun. It talks and it takes the place of common and proper nouns. So if in a sentence there's a common noun or there's a proper noun, we have already discussed what are common and proper nouns in the chapter nouns. So if we have common and proper nouns in the sentence, name of a person, place, animal or a thing, and if there's some common noun, so we replace them with certain pronouns, and those pronouns are called personal pronouns. Now let's see how. Personal pronouns are pronouns that function as the subject or the object in the sentence. So they can take the place of the subject in the sentence or the object in the sentence. I hope you all know that in a sentence we have three parts, that is subject, verb and object. So sometimes these personal pronouns can work as a subject or sometimes they can work as an object. So both the cases are possible. Now some examples are I, we, you, he, she, it. They all are called personal pronouns because they all stand for three persons. Now it can be any person, basically a living human being that we use these pronouns for. That's why they are called personal pronouns. There are three types of personal pronouns: first person personal, second person personal, and third person personal. Now, first person is the person who is speaking. For example, I am the one who's talking in this video. So, I will be the first person pronoun. Secondly, if I'm talking to you, so the person whom I'm talking to, the person who's being spoken to, that person becomes the second person. For example, for me, you are the second person. And the third person is the person who is spoken of. Means the third person is a person whom we are talking about. For example, she or he or they, something like that. So therefore, first, second and third person all talk about different type of people. Now let's see how we replace them. Subject pronoun. So I told you that a pronoun can work as a subject and object both. Now let's see how it works as a subject. The pronoun that functions as a subject in a sentence, for example, I, we, you, he, she, they. If in place of a noun, I replace these pronouns, they become subjects. Now how? Let's see the example. Rahul is an engineer. In this sentence, Rahul is the noun and it's the subject of the sentence. In the second sentence, you see it will be he works for Indian Railways. Instead of repeating Rahul again, I have replaced the word noun using the pronoun he. So here he is working as the subject for the second sentence. So therefore it is a subject pronoun. I hope this will be clear to you. Moving on to the next type, that's the object pronoun. Here this pronoun functions as an object in the sentence. It's not the subject, it's not the person or the thing which is doing the action. Instead, it receives the action. For example, such as me, us, you, him, her, them. Now how? Let's see. Rahul met her. So subject is Rahul, and whom did Rahul meet? Which is the object which is receiving the action of meet or met? That is her. So here this pronoun her is being treated as the object. So therefore this particular case will be called object pronoun. Coming back to the types, next we have demonstrative pronouns. Now these pronouns point out the objects. So they typically point out or they tell you that this is the particular thing which we are talking about. Let's see. Demonstrative pronouns are the words that identify nouns in the sentence. So they tell us particular noun, which noun, this, that, these, those. Okay, these are the examples of the demonstrative pronouns. The words are this, that, these and those. Let's see the usage of these words in the sentence. First one, these are the trees that are planted by my mother. So here these is used in the place of the noun trees. These are. So if I point out towards an object and say this or that or those, so I am replacing that noun with the pronoun these, that or those. So here similarly this word these is replacing the noun trees and therefore it's a demonstrative pronoun. Now see the next one. This is the book that I found. Pointing out towards a particular book, I say this is the book that I found. Moving back to the types. The third type we have is the interrogative pronoun. These pronouns are used for asking questions. So let's see how they are used. Interrogative pronouns such as who, whom, whose, which and what. These are the words that are used for asking questions. Now how do we use them in the sentence? What is your name? So in place of the noun whatsoever, we have changed that and we have used the pronoun what. So here it is what is your name. So this is an interrogative pronoun. It's used to ask a question as well as it replaces the noun. Next, who is the Prime Minister of your country? Again, it's asking the question as well as it's replacing the noun. So these are the interrogative pronouns. For the practice time, you have been given a worksheet and you have to do the work given according to the instructions. For the previous homework, I have also shared a PDF in which you have the answers of the revision worksheet given in the previous class. I hope you will revise these and you will do the practice exercises very nicely. Thank you, and we'll be continuing with the other types of pronouns in the next class.